injury. So their 5 starts with all 7-time All-Star. And one of the greats, Tina Charles. For Dallas, they're down to 8 players because of suspensions of Kayla Thornton and Christina Nigwe. This starting 5, though, very impressive in their last win over the LA Sparks. And we are just about to get underway. Roy Gilbey, Jeff Wooten, Kevin Sparrock are officials tonight. One of the things you and I have been talking about is Dallas having to get out to a quick start in this ballgame.
It's so important that Dallas stays on the attack as we see this start out with an offensive off-the-ball call. But it's very important. They came off a big win the other night against L.A. here at home in front of a great crowd, especially shorthanded. You got to keep that aggressive nature and confidence up.
Well, if you look at New York, the same holds true from them. The guards must get going early. And one of the worries for Dallas is not allowing Nurse and Hartley to get going quickly. Foul's going to be called, and that'll be on Izzy Smith, head coach of the New York Liberty, played 15 seasons in the WNBA. And that is Katie Smith, voted one of the top 15 players in league history. 7-time All-Star, 3 Olympic gold medals to her credit.
I'll tell you, she's got all those accolades behind her and on her bio. But one of the things that you cannot measure is the heart that Katie Smith played with. And she coaches that way, too. I love her demeanor on the sideline, but you know that's a heart of champion inside of her all the time and wants to see her team competing every possession of the game.
Well, she also took Ohio State to the NCAA title game as a freshman. And here is Arike Ogunbowale, 9 20-point games this season. Good defense by Rashonda Gray on Harrison.
Ron, Izzy Harrison started out with a foul defensively in the game already, and that was a problem that happened in the other night for Dallas, that they had to play not only shorthanded because of the suspensions due to the fight the other night, but it was also because Izzy Harrison really got into early foul trouble. She was playing in the first half with 4 fouls. They need her in the game tonight with a star in the post that New York's going to play with, and Tina Charles.
Offensive key for the Dallas Wings this season, and it is again tonight. They have to attack, and they also have to make the easy pass. Dallas sometimes gets in the habit of trying to force passes. Ogunbowale, tough shot off the mark. Rebound pulled away by Gray, the 26-year-old out of Cal. Here is Tanisha Wright running the point. Charles, they don't want her to get that deep. Kicks the leg out. Little Dirk Nowitzki with a 2.
That is exactly a Dirk Nowitzki. And she's made a career off of that move. She knows exactly what she's doing in the timing. We're going to see Brian Agler call an early timeout. He's not happy with the game plan, I think, execution of the game plan, both on the offensive end and the defensive end.
And with that, we will step aside early on here in Dallas and the Liberty with a 3-point advantage. Well, we've played 70 seconds. 5 points have been scored. 4-1. New York is on top. Third member of our broadcast team is Katie Engleson. Katie?
Thank you, Ron. Well, teams are always changing, but it's the relationships, the friendships that are built that last a lifetime. And Dallas Wings head coach Brian Agler and Liberty head coach Katie Smith have known each other for quite some time, dating back to the American Basketball League days. Yeah, they are pretty familiar with one another. Now, Katie Smith signed with the WNBA in 1999, joining the expansion Minnesota Lynx, along with Coach Agler, who served as that team's first head coach. Then were reunited in Seattle with the Storm. We know Coach Agler places a lot of emphasis on the defensive end. He said after the Wings' last game with the Liberty that as a player, she's one of the most versatile defenders he's ever been around. She takes a lot of pride on that end of the floor, and that's translated to her coaching. Also said she's doing a really good job with her team and said she is one of the greatest competitors he's ever been around.
Well, I don't think you're going to get an argument from any of us on that. Izzy Harrison goes into the crowd after the miss, and here is Nurse. A little shake and bake. She has struggled to score as of late, but not tonight.
Kia Nurse, I think, is one of my favorite young players in the league right now. She's getting a lot of experience in her youth. She's just an incredible guard, but her potential defensively is off the charts.
Outside, Izzy with the first basket for the Wings.
It looks like Izzy's missed game time a little bit. She's impacting every possession on both ends of the floor.
Here's right out front. Nurse, little hesitation. She always looks to draw the contact to get the and one.
Well, it's easy to watch her when she has the ball in her hands, but what's setting her up for so much success is how she's moving off the ball.
Right.
And Alicia Gray is going to have to do a much better job in guarding her than that last possession.
How about Alicia Gray? A little double pump, count the basket, and you've got the foul.
Alicia Gray, over the last 5 games, has really started to turn on. She didn't score a ton in the LA game, as we see here. Her just reading a great closeout attack right there. She didn't score a ton in the LA game, but she played over 30 minutes and had to do a big task in some of the defensive efforts that she showed. Prior to that, all double-figure games, 4 games in a row. Let's see if she can get back on it tonight.
Well, she's 9 points away from 1,000 for her WNBA career. Once again, she was Rookie of the Year. First-round draft pick of the Wings. Here is Gray inside. Charles, they give her the shot from the easy 17, and Ogunbowale pulls it away. Enrique Ogunbowale coming in, averaging 16 points a game. Number 9 in the WNBA in scoring. Charles with the rebound as Amani McGee-Stafford is checked into the lineup for Glory Johnson. This is a matchup thing, I think that's why she's in. And then Tanisha Wright, averaging just over 4 a game, knocks down her first jumper.
Well, I think so far we're seeing both teams try and really create some tempo offensively. But I think what you're also going to see, watch the off-ball defense that Enrique is really engaging. They are not letting her get easy touches. She's going to draw multiple defenders like you see right there.
Right.
But what Enrique has such a great ability to do is be creative with her ability to get the shot off and even draw the foul.
You know, we talked about in the last game when the Wings played the Sparks of how they have worked in practice about getting situations where Enrique knows she's going to get the double and the triple and how to be patient to get out of that.
Well, I think that last game against LA, especially in the fourth quarter, was such a testament to her growth and her willingness to buy into the lessons that she's being taught from not only Brian Agler, but Aaron Phillips and Crystal Robinson and Bryce Agler over there on that bench. She was taught by an incredible coach, Niele Ivey, who's now in the NBA, and she's got so many great mentors around her. She's going to continue to develop and take advantage of that.
Well, Brooke McCarty-Williams has checked into the lineup for the first time, gave the Wings good minutes versus the Sparks. So did Amani McGee-Stafford, but this time she throws it away after the rebound. Glory Johnson also coming into the lineup.
Well, I think Imani is saying that turnover was caused by a foul. I'm sorry, Imani.
No.
That was not.
No.
That was all you, baby.
That was on your shoulders. No question about it. One thing about this New York team, their energy is a lot better than it was last year. Whistling a foul down low. And that foul is going to be on Brooke McCarty-Williams. That'll be her first personal foul.
Well, real quick, you saw some game plan offense right there out of New York. As soon as Brooke came in, they took her into the paint, posted her up. And Brooke's seen a lot of that. She's going to have to pull some help off the ball to help her in those post-ups.
Hartley's pull-up 3 off the mark. Rebound, Glory Johnson is going to be fouled on the play by Rashonda Gray. And that'll be Gray's first personal foul, 13th foul on New York.
Glory Johnson's job when she comes in is to be a rebounder, and she has a great knack for it. She works really hard for it. She gets extra possessions for Dallas.
One thing I want to see Dallas do, if you can make Tina Charles work on both ends of the court, is Izzy Harrison knocks down her 4th point in the ballgame.
2 for 2 and taking good open looks. Guards are doing a great job finding the open player. First time we've been tied. There's the double on Charles. Hartley with a ball fake. Pull up from 15. Got it. Well, there will always be a crowd around Tina Charles when she gets the ball inside. So Tina is going to have to continue to make those kind of decisions and reading doubles, finding the open kick out, and then New York continue to play that backside. Shot clock at 8. Ogunbowale out front. Couple of dribbles. She saw the Liberty close, and she closes them out with a jumper. Do you think Enrique is thinking going into a game like this against New York, where she hasn't had great percentages? She's really struggled finishing shots. Now, in the last outing against New York, she had 22 points. But between the 2 games that she has played against New York so far, she's 9 of 35. 9 of 35.
Yeah.
That's not great efficiency right there. I wonder if it plays into her mindset coming into this game.
Well, that time she lost Kia Nurse on the defensive end, and Nurse knocks it down. Nurse already with 8 of the 14 points for New York in this ball game. And that quickly gets Alicia Gray up off the bench. Shot clock at 6. Amani McGee-Stafford sets the pick. Enrique sees an opening, takes advantage of it. Nice job of Amani McGee-Stafford keeping it alive. And they'll set it up. One of the things Brian Agler wanted his team to do is shoot confidently. Izzy with 1. Not going to do it. That'll be a shot clock violation. We talk about Enrique Ogunbowale, and obviously it was not a good time the first time these two teams met. She was 2 of 23 in that ball game, but she did come back to get 22 points right here inside the College Park Center back on August 1st.
Yeah, so a great turnaround. Again, collectively between the 2 games,
right.
Not a great output there, not a great efficiency, but she is a player, I think, that studies film and will spend time with her coaching staff. As we see Kia Nurse do a great job reading that seam right down the middle of the tunnel and get herself to the free throw line. But Enrique, again, studies film. She wants to learn. She wants to be a great player in the league. So she managed that poor performance after game 1 so well. And I thought Brian Agler managed that poor performance tremendously. He was like, keep shooting it. Great shooters are going to have bad nights. Don't sweat it.
And that's what the word was he gave her. Here's Kia Nurse at the line. Last 5 games, she has averaged 8.8 points and have only shot 29 points. But she's already got 9 here in the opening quarter. And that goes back to one of the keys for the Wings, as they talked about the last couple of days. Don't let Nurse get going early.
No, you've got to really limit the guard scoring output between Beck Allen and definitely Kia Nurse. And that's not an easy task, but it is a huge key to victory for Dallas.
Dallas does not look as fluid offensively as they did against the Sparks. Izzy pulls it away. Another offensive rebound for the number 2 offensive rebounding team in the league. Enrique. Nice job looking inside of Izzy Harris.
Izzy's off-ball activity is at a high level right now. She's crashing the board. She's cutting up the defense of New York and finding ways to impact her team and really engage a lot of defenders.
Alicia Gray wanted to go to the paint, but Amani McGee-Stafford stepped in front of her. Izzy Harrison calling out the play. Needs a little help. They worked on this in practice on Tuesday. Enrique. Yes for the 3.
Great to see Enrique really find that confidence just off the catch shot. She's such an off-the-bounce type of player that some teams have been sagging off of her. Now, this is when she's at her best, in the open court, down the middle of the floor, and she is able to create so much when she's in those situations.
Well, Amani McGee-Stafford used what coaches like to call, and I apologize, but a butt screen. That's what she did. She tried to open it up for Enrique, and it didn't work.
That's what the players call it. I mean, I don't know that there's a better term for it, really.
Really?
You know exactly what you're talking about when you say it. Some, you get a little more out of that screen
yeah, exactly.
than others. The older I get, the wider my screen
There you go. You have a bigger area to screen with. There you go. I like that. Inside of 3 minutes to play here in the opening quarter, along with TCU head women's basketball coach Reagan Peebley. I'm Ron Food. Good to have you with us tonight on CBS Sports Network. Nurse with a miss, but the offensive rebound pulled down by Brittany Boyd, the 26-year-old, also a graduate of Cal. Here's Charles working on Amani. Lori Johnson grabs the rebound, and she's going to be fouled on the play by Boyd. Sometimes, Glory, when she pulls a rebound down, you better get out of her way.
Well, we're going to see a lot of possessions, really, where New York is trying to get Tina Charles the ball, and they're going to have to work on their off-ball movement when she gets those touches. It's not going to get easier for her to score with the crowd around her.
New York's had some problems with ball movement this year. Let's go back to Tina Charles on the last possession for New York.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. New York is struggling with turnovers. When the ball comes into a star player like Tina Charles in the paint, you have to get off-ball movement. Otherwise, that off-ball defense can just crowd around her. Nobody cut the defense up and compromised it off the ball to open up a good perimeter shot option.
Johannes from the outside. The rookie out of France, undrafted, signed in March of 2019 with New York. Spacing not good for Dallas right now. Alicia Gray deep in the corner, knocks down the three.
Great patience and ball movement, playing to the backside. That is great team basketball offensively by Dallas.
Closing in on 1,000 points for her career. Glory fights for the rebound. New York comes up with it. Here's Boyd in the corner. Nurse working on Harrison. Spin move. Oh, boy, that could have been a serious leg injury. She did the splits. Alicia Gray with a spin move. Whistle and a foul.
Well, I'll tell you what. That took some creativity, and close your eyes and hope it turns out well out of Alicia Gray.
Yeah.
Defensively, New York was playing the scouting report so well and taking that left hand away, and she was trying to make it happen. She found her spin. And give her great credit for that. It didn't necessarily look pretty, but she understood that she had contact with that defender. We're going to see it right here, where they're going to force her to have to come back to the middle and to the right side of the floor. But great job by Alicia Gray. And I just really am happy for her that she is finding, I think, more confidence and more scoring and greater impact on the offensive end.
Well, she's doing a good job defensively, and you go back to Game 2 versus New York here in Dallas. She did an outstanding job on Nurse. Shot on the way, no. Offensive rebound and the putback by Rashonda Gray. Third-year pro who has an incredible story.
She does, and we're going to have, I think, plenty of time to be able to talk about her, and we have to talk about her, deservingly so. Alicia Gray, though, let's keep talking about her for a minute. A lot of people talked about maybe her sophomore year as we see Imani, again, Dallas impacting the offensive boards. But Alicia Gray had a little bit of a sophomore slump. She didn't go overseas in between her first year and her second year. She stayed here in the States to finish her degree. As the perfect decision for her. She went after her second year. She went overseas, worked on her game. And she, I think, was one of the first players to completely buy into Brian Agler's system. And we're seeing the results of it as they continue to fight for the playoffs.
And he challenged her at the beginning of the year. Here's Imani McGee-Stafford, gets the second. Wings now with the advantage of 5. They've led by as many as 6. New York is led by 5. Allen out front. They hand it to her. They got to get in her face. Quick shot. There it is over Imani McGee-Stafford. No, Alicia Gray taps it. Wings doing a good job getting out after a miss. Final 15 seconds of the quarter.
Usually we see Dallas wind this down to about 8 seconds. That's their magic number to try and get a really good shot and make sure they're not going to give New York another possession.
Alicia Gray, no. Offensive rebound pulled away, and that's the way the first quarter will end. So the Wings found themselves down by 5 early in the game, but they fought back on 44% shooting. We have played the first 10 minutes here in Dallas, and the Wings lead the New York Liberty by 5.
Welcome back to the College Park Center. Joining us is Liberty head coach Katie Smith. Coach Arike Ngumbawale, known for her creative scoring abilities. What kind of problems does she create for your team?
Well, she's aggressive. I mean, every time she has the basketball, she's putting pressure on the defense. So it's a one-on-one matchup that you got to really dig deep. It's also a team thing. So she's got to make her work for everything.
Early on in this game, obviously, but what have you seen from your team that you like so far?
I mean, I think we're competing. I think we, finish off plays by boxing out, get some rebounds, and knocking down some shots. But overall, pretty solid.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, I think one thing Coach Smith is very pleased with, they're taking care of the basketball. They're 11th in the WNBA in turnovers, only Minnesota's worst, but they only had 2 in that opening quarter.
Yeah, a lot of the quarters they've had, they don't get as many shot attempts as their opponents because of those turnovers. You can't score if you don't get shot attempts. So the game is really quite simple, honestly. And, Katie knows that playing it as much as she has.
Pull up by Boyd. That's a 2, goes down. Brittany Boyd, her first basket of the ball game, and it's a 3-point lead for the Dallas Wings. Glad to have you with us tonight. First of 2 here on CBS Sports Network. Alicia Gray, the circus shot. She's in double figures with 10.
I'll tell you, our cameramen have taken some charges on the baseline today.
Taking them for the team.
By Izzy and Alicia Gray. They're doing a great job down there keeping those players safe.
Or Johannes, they just call her, and I quote, a baller. Just comes up with a quick shot. But the Wings have it, leading by 5. Brooke McCarty-Williams out of Texas, the rookie. Back to McCarty-Williams for 3. Short. Into the hands of Boyd. She looks to push. Gray running the floor well. Akunwe, no. That'll be a travel call. Go the other way.
Good transition defense by the Dallas Wings. I think they did a great job of really protecting the rim, protecting the paint, and forcing the scoring to be difficult for the Liberty on that possession.
Now, one thing they have been able to do is give Arike Ogunbowale a little bit of a rest. The last 5 games, she's averaged 36 minutes a game, but she's been out since the end of quarter number 1. They're going to replay that, but Imani McGee-Stafford will be credited with the deuce.
2 games in a row, Imani has hit a couple of those long 2s or 3s potentially.
She's worked at that actually in practice to try to add that to her repertoire. Offensive rebound knocked away. Brooke McCarty-Williams, 3-on-2. Pass to Kaylin Davis.
That's fun basketball right there. And the scoring doesn't get easier than when it comes off your defense like that. And you can play downhill. You can really force teams into their heels just like that possession.
Boyd used an arm to kind of get Brooke McCarty-Williams off her, no call. Then Brooke pays her back with a steal and draws the whistle and the foul. This is the way you run a fast break.
Yeah, and defense isn't defense, I'll tell you, if you don't rebound and if you don't turn people over. And right here we see Dallas do a great job getting rebounds, making it hard on New York, and getting into the open court. And if your teammates don't run the wing, you don't create those opportunities. Now, Brooke McCarty, she knows how to draw some fouls. She knows how to use her body, and I think Brittany Boyd is going to have to be careful and mindful of that.
Brooke McCarty-Williams, we saw her when playing for the University of Texas, the way she played defense. She was involved in everything. That's going to be a whistle and an offensive foul on Megan Gustafson. Kind of moving a little bit there on the screen.
There's a little bit, I would say, a point guard controversy with the New York Liberty team. They've got 2 point guards, and Brittany Boyd, who's out of the game right now, as we see Tina Charles do what Tina Charles does. Right. But definitely, you've got a Brittany Boyd who has experience, who's done some great things in the league, who can score, but she's turned the ball over a lot. And conversely, you've seen Tanisha Wright also turn the ball over, and that's something that New York's trying to figure out.
Well, good job by Megan Gustafson doing what she does best, and that's just get in there and battle on the inside. Katie Smith probably does not like that call.
But her demeanor, Katie Smith's demeanor is just so poised. She's teaching, she's working with what she's got, she's a competitor, and look, she is the type of coach, and just like she was the type of player, she'll take a player who makes mistakes, but go out and play hard. Get on the floor, fight, hustle, scratch, claw, do everything you got to do to demonstrate to your team you're out there fighting. And she'll live with mistakes, but if she doesn't see you fighting, and then we're not talking about literally. I know that's an issue in the W right now. But if she doesn't see you out there working your tail off for your team, then go ahead and have a seat.
Exactly. So she broke the Big Ten scoring record for men or women when she was at Ohio State. Brian Agler goes, wait a minute, Megan, you're supposed to be there. You don't trigger the inbounds pass.
You got to be really smart about who you have inbound.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one of the most important people on the floor for a coach.
Well, for the last 2 years, Kayla Davis has been one of the better ones to get the inbounds pass. Whistle, and I think it's going to be defensive 3 seconds. No, they're going to call a foul.
Yeah, calling a shove and a little bit of a displacement on a roll. You know, what we're seeing right now out of New York is they're going under almost all of Enrique's on-ball screen action. They're going over Brooke. They don't want to let Brooke be able to do some things. They want to send her actually to the rim and force her to have to finish. As we see Imani McGee test her luck with the second one. But they want to force Enrique to take threes off the bounce. That's probably one of her lower percentage shots.
Here is Charles. They double her with Davis. Right outside off the back of the iron. Long shot, long rebound. Charles can't finish. Nurse offensive rebound. Tina Charles again.
You might think your TV is on replay right there, but
I don't
nope.
think she moved.
She never moved. The exact same shot, the exact same form. Different result, though.
Well, she's 6 points away from moving into the number 11 spot in WNBA scoring, passing the legendary Becky Hammond. 5 to shoot for Enrique. Gustafson will launch the 3 off the iron. Gustafson now 0 for 4 in her career from 3. Nurse hip check by Megan.
Is there a ref that calls the block foul with better form than Roy Goldbank?
I think he does it well. He's kind of old school calling it. The old days.
He does it with a nice little flair. I'm liking it, Roy. Like, I'm thinking he needs to give the clinic. He's solid.
He's very solid. Outstanding official. McCarty now just hassling Hartley out front. Charles will set the pick. Brooke fights through it. They have to switch. Great job by Izzy Harrison.
That is great point of the attack defense by Dallas, and that's something they work on a lot in their practices and in their film sessions is how to defend points of attack. An on-ball screen is one of those ways.
You watch Dallas long enough, you know they don't want anybody touching the ball on the wings. And here's Johnson. Glory Johnson for 3, coming off an incredible performance against the Sparks, where she hit 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. Call that a hold. Alicia Gray came into this game looking to go over 1,000 points for her career. She needed 12. She's got 10, including this. Wings lead it by 8. We have got 5:13 left to play in the opening half. Coming up next at 10 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network, our WNBA doubleheader continues as Dewana Bonner and the Phoenix Mercury play host to Tiffany Hayes and the Atlanta Dream. We talked about this game between the Liberty and the Wings important. Also important for both Phoenix and Indiana and Atlanta. Phoenix just holding on at 11 and 13 right now. And, of course, they've got to play another 2 games, including tonight, without Brittany Griner because of the suspension.
Well, that's a big impact. They've built so much of what they do around a player like BG, and why wouldn't you? It's a big impact, but they've got a lot of other tools and so much experience on that team. And really, right now, this is what's exciting about the WNBA. There's a lot left to play, but there is such a tight race.
Turnover, a little moving of the feet. Dallas will have the basketball. 6 turnovers for New York, and we talked about only 2 in that opening quarter, already 4 here in quarter number 2.
This is what Katie talks about a lot, Katie Smith, and that they just have to build some consistency from quarter to quarter and build an identity. That's something I know this New York Liberty team is missing, is what do they really hang their hat on? Are they a killer defensive team, as we see Caitlin Davis do a nice job attacking the rim there, but are they a team that just knocks down threes? They're still trying to find that complete identity, and injuries have really, I think, prevented them from being able to solidify that.
On top, Hartley, they gave her the 3. She drives instead, runs over Kayla Davis, and that'll be a blocking foul on Davis. And that'll be her second personal foul.
Bria Hartley does such a great job here of attacking this little bit of seam, but the rotation defensively by Kayla Davis is going to have to be higher and sooner and getting those feet set. And she was just sliding a little too late.
Here's Bria Hartley, drafted 7th overall in the 2014 draft by Seattle, traded to Washington in April of 2014. Member of the all-rookie team in that same year. I just remember her back in college, and she always built a reputation of playing big in big games.
She's a competitor, too, I'll tell you what. And she's also part of another really special sorority here in the WNBA, and she's a mom.
That's right.
And what I've noticed about her is she just does such a great job of immediately going from competitor and professional women's basketball player to mom. It appears to be seamless for her.
Well, she's got a 2-year-old son named Bryson. Foul was on Nao Rankaki Kunwe. And that was only the 4th team foul on New York. Trailing by 7. They've led by as many as 6 in this game. Or 5. Check that, by 5. And Enrique Ogunbowale. 8 points so far. Glory Johnson, no. Izzy Harrison tried to tip it. Ends up in the hands of Tia Nurse, the 23-year-old out of UConn.
A little bit of a mismatch, I feel like, inside. And that's why you pulled rotation help defensively. Dallas doing a nice job of really staying active off the ball and trying to help each other out.
Hartley's pull-up jumper, rebounded by Glory Johnson. Whistle and a foul on the rebound. Glory pulls down her first board of the ball game. And the foul's going to be on Tanisha Wright, and they'll go down the other end to shoot. You know, we just saw a great shot of Brian Agler working with Enrique Ogunbowale. And one of the things that Brian does in practice, he gives reasons for what they do and why they do it. There's always an explanation.
He came from a line of teachers in his development as a coach, and he's actually really helped a lot of other coaches develop because of how he's taught. Katie Smith, a great example of that. Katie played for him, as we mentioned before, and learned the game because she was a player like Enrique is right now.
Right.
And Brian's not just telling you what to do, he's telling you the why and the how and the when. Those other really important elements to developing your IQ.
And especially during his practices, if he sees something he doesn't like, it's a stop, it's a teaching moment, and he always starts every teaching moment by saying, now listen up. That is my favorite Brian Agler phrase right now. Now listen up. Wings by 9. Allen, they're covering her after that 28-point game in her last outing, and Brooke McCarty-Williams will be whistled for the foul. And we'll get our first look at the 26-year-old out of Australia who will go to the line.
Well, Becca Allen has been playing some really special basketball lately, and they call her Spider, which is the Aussie way, I guess, that you say spider. The Aussies and us say our R's a little bit differently, but she's got those long limbs, right? Her arms and her legs, she's long, and she's such a hard guard because a lot of longer players don't have the off-ball activity and ability to guard her off of all these screens that she does.
Playing in her 99th game, started out by playing netball, believe it or not. And then
Aussies get their starts that way.
I know.
It's the sport that I just don't get, though.
I don't get it either. Nurse pulled it away, and here come the Liberty. Hartley working on Ogunbowale. Nice step. Oh, Izzy Harrison thought she had a clean block. Hartley goes into the stanchion. And Izzy Harrison will be whistled for the foul. That'll be her first personal.
This is a beautiful break, and really this is a break where the ball touched 4 players' hands, but only hit the ground 2 times.
Yeah.
And the pass moves up the floor a lot faster than the bounce, especially when you got people running. And Hartley did a great job of attacking that with angles, and her teammates did a great job setting her up.
Now for Bria Hartley out of UConn, last 2 games, she's been in double figures, including a season high 17 versus Seattle. 3 of 4 from the line, 5 points, whistle, and picks up the foul by Hartley, and that'll be her first personal. Will go again down the other end to shoot. And Hartley's going to go out. And Maureen Johannes will come back into the lineup for the Liberty.
Maureen Johannes has been a really special player, rookie. And they call her the French Steph Curry.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I mean, that almost French Curry.
Doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right.
It
doesn't sound right. But really, there's only one Steph Curry so far. But she's doing a great job. She's a hard guard, too, because her shot is quick. She reminds me of an Allie Quigley, actually.
Exactly.
And I think she can develop into a very similar type of player.
Brooke McCarty-Williams now 9 of 10 from the line this year. We're inside of 3 minutes. Wings with a 7-point advantage. Allen posted up on Johnson. Tough ball away. Glory didn't have to move, and Rebecca Allen sort of struggling right now, 0 for 2 shooting. In that game where she had 28 points, 20 of those came in the second quarter. Not this game.
Well, Enrique doing a great job having her post players set twist on ball screens for her. When guards have defenders that go under on ball screens, a twist is a great action to get into.
Izzy Harrison, point blank range, couldn't get it. Mr. Breakaway layup against the Sparks the other night. And here is Nurse. Ogunbowale looks at the screen by Allen. Stays with Nurse. We talked about how Kia Nurse likes to draw the contact. She did there, and she will go to the line. We've got a timeout, 2:09 to play here in the opening half. Kia Nurse leading the Liberty in scoring with 10 points to go along with a couple of rebounds.
Welcome back to the College Park Center. 29-36 the score here in the second quarter as we are approaching halftime. Now, the New York Liberty sent 2 players to the All-Star game last month. Tina Charles, who was making her 7th appearance, and Kia Nurse, who made her first. Both obviously former UConn players, and they share a special bond. I was talking to a Liberty staff member, and she provided a lot of good insight, saying Tina leads by example for many players on the team. But for Kia and Tina, they both went to UConn, and Tina has been a trailblazer in that sense with the success she's had. Also, something to note, they are actually the only 2 players for the Liberty that have started every single game this season.
And the only other one that's played every game has been Rashonda Gray. But Tina Charles, of course, over 5,800 points, over 3,000 rebounds in her career.
Yeah, she's missed durable. She's missed 1 game, I think, in the last 2 seasons, playing 32, 33 minutes a game.
Oh, yeah.
And look, she's not like in her second year of basketball. She's been playing for a while, and she's been playing in the post. And that's a big topic across the WNBA right now, is how post play has gotten so physical, and some of the altercations that have happened as a result of how post play is being played. And Tina's has gotten a lot of that physical contact over her career.
And that takes a toll on everyone that plays in the post in the WNBA. Very physical.
Yeah, it takes a mental toll. It takes a physical toll. I think it's something that really is going to have to get addressed. And I'm a recovering post player myself, so I'm a little bit on my soapbox now, I realize. But
you're allowed.
You know, I mean, you see players, Liz Cambage and VG, Tina Charles, Sylvia Fowles. They get pushed around, and the contact they have to receive, as we see a great example of that right there, and Izzy Harrison fouling that. But way more contact than they should have to. If a guard gets touched out front, it's a foul. But that 2 hands on her, that technically is a foul right away. And it's not easy, though, for the officials to call. And look, they're doing it to each other. So, again, it's just something that is going to have to continue to actually get addressed and do something about it.
Well, she got the 3. All of a sudden, the lead is down to 3 with a minute and a half to go. Wings had pushed the advantage to 9. Here is Ogunbowale. Has been quiet lately. They've been doing a good job defensively on her. Shot clock at 5. Launches the 3. Off the mark. Izzy Harrison, offensive rebound. They'll set it up again. That may get you off a little run there. Whistle and another foul inside. It's going to be on Izzy Harrison, I think, again. And that'll be your third personal foul.
Well, Izzy Harrison, I really do believe, is a great defender, but she gets asked to guard some of the best players in the league and players who are going to take the most shots. It's hard to guard that kind of an attack by anybody, whether you're talking about guarding an Enrique Agumalala coming down the tunnel and attacking and got you on your heels, or if you're guarding Tina Charles.
And Charles gets the hometown bounce. And the lead is at 4. 50 seconds remaining to play here in the opening half. It's been a good first half. Both teams with a lot to play for. Davis, Johnson, corner, got it.
Great pocket pass from Taylor Davis to Glory Johnson. That's a hard pass to make, and one thing you got to really practice and communicate on.
Glory Johnson, 2 straight double-figure games. They're going to call a blocking foul on Brooke McCarty-Williams. All 5'4" of her stood right in front of 6'4" Tina Charles.
Well, let's take a look and see what the official might have seen that we didn't. She's rotated, and we can't see her feet. It sure looked like the bun was still. The bun
really
wasn't moving, but she might have been taking a little bit of an extra step right there. And she could have. You don't have to take the charge completely squared on. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. So she didn't have to take that extra step.
Charles has spent a lot of time at the line. Glory Johnson pulls away the rebound. Charles, 5 trips to the stripe. She's made 3 of them. She's got 11. Joins Kia Nurse, leading scorer for the Liberty in the ballgame. Amani now faces up.
Needs to be a little bit more off-ball movement right now to compromise this good New York defense.
Shot clock at 3. Ogunbowale slices through the defense.
Well, that good New York defense didn't last long enough.
And Ogunbowale with 12. Shot clock turned off. 5 to play in the half. Nurse drawing that contact again.
Well, it's just not a smart play by Imani McGee-Stafford. You got 3.5 seconds left here. If they get the score, they get the score. But don't let them go into halftime feeling like they've got a little bit of momentum here with the and one opportunity, the 2-point play or the 3-point play had she made that. And don't put yourself into foul trouble. You already have your teammate, Isabel Harrison, with some foul issues right now as well.
Well, you know, when you look at Kia Nurse on tape, she does focus a lot on jumping into defenders. Not a great finisher at the rim.
Well, I actually might disagree with you. I think she's a really good finisher at the rim, but she's even better. What causes her not to finish is getting herself to the free throw line sometimes. She draws contact extremely well.
Well, the halftime buzzer is sounded, 42-36. The Wings leading by 6. Alicia Gray, a big fast start for the Wings, coming in with 10 points. She's standing by now with Katie.
Well, Alicia, a quick start for you in tonight's game. Evaluate your contributions in this first half.
I'm just doing anything to help my team out. The main thing for me to come out tonight was just stay aggressive, and I know when I'm aggressive, that's my best way of helping the team.
The Liberty, they're 0 for 5 from the arc, from beyond the arc. How would you assess your team's defensive effort?
That's our plan. I mean, that's just defense. Our overall defense, just staying aggressive, being up into them, and that shows on the court.
Thank you, Alicia, for the time. Good luck in the second half.
All right, for only the 10th time this season, the Dallas Wings have a lead in intermission. 42-36 is our halftime score. And coming up at halftime, a feature on one of the most underrated defenders in the WNBA, Kayla Thornton of the Dallas Wings. Just about 10 seconds away from the start of quarter number 3 with the Wings leading the Liberty 42-36. First game of our doubleheader here on CBS Sports Network. Earlier today, just about 2.5 hours before game time, everybody got their hopes up because Skylar Diggins-Smith was out warming up. And she looked great. She worked on her shot. She went through drills with Crystal Robinson for probably at least a half an hour, 40 minutes.
Well, one thing I know that Skylar Diggins-Smith knows how to do is work hard. And I've had to do it, come back from having a baby and getting your body right, but I didn't have to come back and try and be a professional athlete. So I can't empathize with her there, but I'll tell you, it takes 9 months to get your body into a shape to have a baby. Give her some grace.
Exactly.
Give her at least the 9 months that it takes after to get her body ready to compete and to play at this level, which is the highest level.
Well, just put a bow on that. There is no timetable for when Skylar might, if she does, return, but it was kind of a glimmer of hope for all of us that have visions of Arike Ogunbowale moving to the 2 guard and Skylar playing the 1 and playing together.
Well, what I think could be really great about them is neither have to be defined as the point guard or the 2 guard. They can play off each other so well, and the IQ between the 2 of them could really be off the charts.
And there'd be no truth to the rumor that we'd have to go with Notre Dame green on the uniforms if those 2 start. Down to Gray. Fans wanted to travel, not going to get it. Here is Nurse. Gray tries to go over the screen. Charles rolls. Gray to Charles. Lets it fly. Doesn't get it. Rebound. Glory Johnson. That's her 4th board of the ball game. Izzy Harrison wisely kicked it out instead of trying to make something out of that.
And you see just that poise coming out of Dallas. And the officials, I think, I've got to believe that there's been some discussion to officials after some of the altercations that have happened lately to call some things off the ball tight, not to let things escalate. And I think that's a great decision and a great call there by the official.
Well, Alicia Gray picked up her 3rd personal foul. Shot clock at 5. Hartley on the drive, lets it fly. No, Izzy Harrison takes it away from Gray. Ogunbowale looks to push. A little hesitation, knocked a little bit off balance. Glory launches, doesn't get the 3. Izzy Harrison battles for the offensive rebound.
When you have a rebounder on the floor like Izzy Harrison on the offensive end, that is a confidence builder for your guards. Because it gives them that belief like, hey, if I don't hit this shot, there's probably a pretty good chance that we're going to get an offensive rebound when Izzy Harrison's on the floor.
Well, she already has a couple tonight. They say a win off Dallas, and it's New York's basketball. Trailing by 6. 3rd and final meeting between these 2 teams. And that's going to be on Alicia Gray again. And that'll be her 4th personal foul.
Got to believe some of that is just fatigue, Ron. She
Yeah.
played 32, 33 minutes in their game the other night and had the task of guarding one of the league's toughest offensive matchups in Chelsea Gray. And she's asked to come in tonight again because of the short bench that Dallas has due to suspensions and play a lot of minutes.
Well, once again, as you mentioned, Izzy Harrison had 4 fouls early in that ball game. And Brian Agler rolled the dice in the 4th quarter to go ahead and let her play.
Well, sometimes you don't have a choice, though, and that's what I think Brian Agler's looking at right now is he doesn't have a lot of choice when he looks down at his bench, and he's missing a potential 3 players, 4 players if you count a Taylor Hill in that mix as well.
Hartley over Izzy Harrison for 2. And the lead of Dallas is cut to 2, and Brian Agler wants to talk about it. Timeout with 7:30 to play here in the 3rd quarter. We talked about how both teams at times have struggled in the 3rd, but right now, New York opens up a 4-0 lead here in 3rd quarter points. We'll be back. Coming up next at 10 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network, our WNBA doubleheader continues as Dewana Bonner and the Phoenix Mercury play host to Tiffany Hayes. and the Atlanta Dream. That'll be coming up immediately following the Dallas Wings and New York Liberty. Along with TCU head women's basketball coach Reagan Peevely, I'm Ron Thulin. Wings have led by as many as 9. New York has led by as many as 5. Alicia Gray.
I think that's one of the things that drive coaches nuts when you foul 3-point shooter.
Oh, yeah.
Just contest. Get a hand up and trust that that's enough. If they hit the 3 against a solid contest, then hats off to you. But don't foul them right there. You go from a good 3-point shooter being 42% from the 3 to now you're putting them to the free throw line where they're probably 80%.
84 to be exact.
Well, that's why you do play-by-play. And so well, Ron.
Oh, well.
So well.
Last game against New York, Alicia Gray had 13, and she's got 12 tonight. As Izzy Harrison, another offensive rebound.
I'm telling you, Izzy Harrison is a phenomenal rebounder.
That's her 3rd offensive rebound tonight. Arike Ogunbowale, no.
Those are the shots that New York's going to give. They go under those on-ball screen and test her to have to hit those threes off the dribble.
Davis now guarding Nurse and gives it up to Charles. They run about half their plays, isolations for Charles. Inside, Rashonda Gray, great position. Talk about a blue-collar player.
Yeah.
That is Rashonda Gray.
Well, Ron, I know you had a chance to talk to her quite a bit before the game, and she's just an impressive woman, and everything she's gone through in her life and the adversity she's faced and the positive, faithful attitude she's sustained.
Lori Johnson off the mark, and now the Wings. You don't want to get falling in love with 3. New York with a chance to tie it up. The big step and the basket by Tanisha Wright, and we are tied at 44.
I'll tell you, bad shots will set you up for bad transition defense.
Absolutely. What did Rick Majerus once say? Bad shots just take you right out of a game.
I think he also said a bad burger will do that, too.
Yeah, really. Ogunbowale struggling, can't get it to go. And now the Liberty look to take the advantage. Outscoring Dallas 8-2 here in quarter number 3.
You know, I feel like Dallas is playing a little flat right now. They've got more in their tank that they can give. I think New York is fighting. They've shown some growth in their third quarter effort and productivity. They're trying to take care of the ball better. They're playing above their average right now. But Dallas, I would say, is playing below. And a lot of it just comes from, I think, either fatigue and they can't amp it up just yet, or they need some big plays. They got to create some of those runs, the momentum builders.
Well, New York 3 of 7 shooting in this quarter, 0 for 6 for the Dallas Wings. In deep inside, can't get it. Charles gets her own rebound. Davis after the miss.
Well, and if Dallas just showing some fatigue right now, it's not going to get easier on Sunday afternoon when they have another game, third game in 6 days.
Harrison wanted the foul, didn't get it. They get another opportunity. Alicia Gray, 4-3.
Great ball movement, great kick out by Glory Johnson right there to Alicia Gray, but awful rotation defense. And you see their coach, Katie Smith, yelling to them on the sideline, rotate, rotate, rotate. Don't give up on the play.
Let's check in with Katie on the sideline.
Well, Alicia Gray with 15 points so far, making her presence known. And a big congrats to her. That was the last free throw she made was her 1,000th career point. She now has 1,003 career points. Big congratulations goes out to Alicia Gray.
She's done a great job. Also to Tina Charles as she passed Tina Thompson for number 5 on the all-time rebounding list in WNBA history, and close to moving up a notch in the all-time scoring list. Just 1 point away from that.
You get how huge that is? I know you do, but for everybody at home watching, whether you're an old-time WNBA fan or you're a new WNBA fan, Tina Thompson was one of the best to play our game. She won a whole lot of championships, scored a whole lot of points, but Tina Charles is right up there with her, just passed her up, and now is one of the top scorers in the league as well.
Well, she's only a point away from catching Becky Hammond
Well, another legend right there you talk about, and that's another Liberty player that you're addressing. We've got another Liberty great here on the Dallas Wings bench, and Crystal Robinson, and Crystal Robinson has definitely made her imprint there in New York, especially from that three-point line.
All-time three-point shooter is Alicia Gray again. Gray heating it up here in quarter number 3, 18 points in the ball game.
This is where you can build momentum, where you get big shots, you get stops, you get fun transition plays and offense off your defense.
Corey Johnson has a mismatch on Johannes and takes advantage of it. Timeout, New York.
Glory Johnson on that possession said, I will not be denied. She went to her right, she went to her left. I think she spun around a little bit and finally found a way to get to the rim.
But Alicia Gray, 18 points in the ball game. That is a new season high. And she's done it inside, outside, and from the free throw line. Let's go back to her last basket.
Well, again, we talked about it's been a little flat right here for Dallas, and they haven't been able to create a big run. But threes like this made out of great decision-making with Enrique. Alicia Gray finding the opening seam right there. And now Glory, little hesitation, and then utilizing that little shoulder that, Glory's got. She's got some shoulders. I think she sharpens up them elbows a little bit. But she's a physical player, and it really helps this Dallas team define themselves collectively in having that identity as a physical team.
Well, we talked about the all-time leading scorer, how Tina Charles is closing in on Becky Hammond. But you look at the top 5 leading scorers all time. Diana Taurasi, we hope she hurries up and gets back. Tina Thompson, just about talked about her. Ketch, Cappy, and Katie Smith are on the top 5. That's quite a list.
That is an incredible list right there. I mean, that's as a coach, that's a dream list. I think I can make something happen with that squad.
Yeah, we'd win 1 or 2 games, I think. Brooke McCarty-Williams doing what she does best, being a pest, and Boyd ends up kicking it. And it'll be the Wings basketball.
We alluded to it earlier. A lot of people would look at this roster and say, oh, Brittany Boyd's going to be your starting point guard. But she's not. She's not the starting point guard. Tanisha Wright is the starting point guard. Brittany Boyd still plays a significant role on this team, but turnovers between the two of them is a big issue, and that's something New York is trying to figure out an answer to, is how do we stop ourselves from turning the ball over nearly 7 times a game out of our point guard spot?
Bonnie McGee, Stafford, Noah, the Wings are on an 8-0 run, trying to up the advantage, leading by 8. Pull up by Johannes, that quick shot from the rookie out of France. This is only her 10th game played with the Liberty. Mainly a three-point shooter. Don't usually see her shooting from there. Amani fights through the shot by Tina Charles to drop it down.
Inside-out basketball is Brian Agler's favorite kind of basketball right there. He knows the importance of getting the ball in the middle of the floor and getting it into the paint. You're going to create high percentage shots when you do that.
Nice ball fake by Charles and lofts it over.
If I'm putting a scouting report on my team or for my team and getting them ready for the Dallas Wings, I'm telling my post players to pump fake against McGee Stafford.
Yep.
She leaves her feet too much. It happened in the last game. It happened right there. She got to stay on the ground.
Boyd took it in the mouth from Enrique and quickly up ahead. Ray Cockney-Kunwe got it. That's a pretty break by New York.
Don't let people get behind you in transition defense. You're going to really put a lot of pressure on your defense if you allow that to happen.
Talk about getting the ball in the tunnel. Brian Agler saying if you can get the ball in the tunnel, there's no help side defense you're going to get to. Alicia Gray is fouled. Let's go back to that fast break and see exactly how it developed.
Well, again, I think Enrique in transition in the middle of the floor has got to be one of the hardest guards in the WNBA. That action right there alone probably got fouled, but you can't stop playing. You got to play to the whistle. And the Liberty did a much better job of that than Dallas did.
Brooke McCarty-Williams is going to go out. Enrique is going to go out, and Kayla Davis comes in. What a game, though, for Alicia Gray. Already a new season high. As Reagan mentioned, prior to that Sparks game, she had 4 consecutive games of double-figure scoring. Her career high, by the way, is 21. She is one away from that.
Great off-ball defense by Kayla Davis there. She's got a tough guard there in Beck Allen.
But the 2 goes down. Again, Tina Charles, 15 points in the ball game to go along with 7 rebounds. Gray feeling it. Doesn't get it.
We talked about the 2-guard, point guard race it is in New York. Dallas takes a definite point guard by committee approach. We've seen for Dallas, Kayla Davis play the point, Enrique play the point, Brooke McCarty-Williams play the point, and even a couple of possessions we've seen Alicia Gray play the point.
Everybody has the ability to do it. Glory Johnson launching the 3. She's now just 1 for 7 from beyond the arc. That was not a good shot. Outside, Charles makes them pay with the 3.
When you have a player like Asia Durr unavailable to play, on top of that, you don't have Amanda Zowie B. You've got to have Tina Charles score for you. And Tina Charles has done this long enough to know when her team needs her.
That was only her 10th three-pointer made. That's going to be an offensive foul on Kayla Davis. So the Wings put together a good run. And then the wheels have come off. You'll see the arm on this play.
Easy call for the official here as Kayla Davis attacks downhill, going to her right. She put up that left elbow and just an easy decision and call.
Well, Glory Johnson and Amani McGee have sat down, and they're giving Enrique Ogunbowale a little bit of rest, too. Much needed rest.
Absolutely. She needs a breather. They've been relying on her a lot.
She played all but 3.5 minutes of that opening 20. She'll get a rest plus the break between the 3rd and the 4th. Here is Boyd. 1 second difference shot of the game clock.
Oh, wow. I cannot believe, honestly, the angle I had that call went against Brooke McCarty-Williams here. We can see here where her arm is locked and pinned underneath the screener.
Yeah.
And the official who made the call, I felt like had a great angle at it.
Well, you can see Ray Kakikunwe kind of just hooked her up immediately. Harrison, can she get it? Yes! After missing a breakaway against the Sparks, and then Kayla Davis with the steal and the foul.
Well, there's the momentum that we're talking about trying to create. And you can't create momentum and energy and height without getting defense and getting into the open court. And how happy are we for Izzy Harrison that this high turnover steal turned into a made layup. Both in the Phoenix game and LA game, she had wide open layups that were misses. And when you are in those situations, and all of us who've played the game have been in those situations, you can't replay that miss in your mind. You have to replay all the makes you've had in your mind. So I'm happy for that woman.
Now, Kayla Davis now with 4 points in the ballgame, and that's the way the 3rd quarter will end. But what an end to the 3rd quarter for the Dallas Wings. 4 straight points to close out the 3rd. 1 quarter remaining. Can Dallas win their 3rd in a row, or will New York snap their 6-game skid? Wings lead it by 5.
Welcome back to the College Park Center. Joining me is Wings head coach Brian Agler. Coach, several players contributing on both ends of the floor tonight. Where will you find your advantages in the 4th quarter?
I don't know if we have any advantages, but other than we're going to have to outwork them. You know, we're going to have to make plays defensively and get our right people some shots. Hopefully get to the free throw line.
Thank you for your time.
Alicia Gray won off her career high of 21. She's got 20 in the ball game, including 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. And you talk about beyond the arc. That's where the difference is in this game. Both teams have made 19 field goal attempts. But New York just 1 of 7 from 3. The Wings 5 of 18. Enrique Ogunbowale gets the roll.
Tell you what, that decision she makes to get into the pull-up instead of another dribble in her attack is so quick.
You and I were talking before the game. You said Dallas has got to force at least 16 turnovers from New York to win. New York has turned it over 12 times right now. Nice save, Johannes. Charles again over Harrison. No. Nurse comes up. Johannes, that's that quick shot we talked about in the 3.
We give up 3 second chance opportunities. You're bound to give up a 3 at some point, whether it's the old-fashioned 3-and-1 or an open 3 on the perimeter.
Well, she was 0 for her last 5 from beyond the arc coming into this game after going 4 for 4 versus Chicago. But the Wings come right back and answer with a 2. Ogunbowale with 16.
Need to see the Liberty adjust and how they're going to guard Enrique off those on-ball screens, attacking the middle.
Izzy Harrison, rebound number 6. Wings try to get their first 3-game win streak since July of last year. Harrison just inside of 3, well off the mark. Brooke McCarty-Williams with the offensive rebound.
Two times in a row that Kayla's gotten called for that, and she thinks she's just gathering and grabbing the ball with 2 hands, but when you extend that arm beyond your natural body positioning and there's a defender there, it absolutely is illegal, and you can't do that. It's going to be a call, and an easy call every time.
She's done that a lot, believe it or not, this year. Tina Charles sweeping hook, and Tina Charles checking in with 20 in the ball game.
Hey, 3 out again.
Go along with 7 rebounds.
Well, that call has been a few possessions in the making, to be honest. Off the ball, Hartley being really physical and holding Enrique on her off-ball activity, and we've seen it also out of additional players, guarding players like Alicia Gray and Brooke McCarty-Williams.
Well, we saw Tiara Ruffin-Pratt of Los Angeles guard Enrique Ogunbowale like that, just bodied up to her the whole time. Shot clock at 9. Shot clock at 5. Gustafson got to make a move. Alicia Gray as the shot clock goes off. Quickly up ahead, and Gray with a steal.
Those are the turnovers, I know, that just drive Katie Smith nuts. You have an opportunity to get a big win on the road. You're in the 4th quarter. You work hard for a defensive stop, and you turn it over within 2 seconds.
Wright just threw it right into the hands of Gray. Enrique tried to force it into Gustafson, tried to keep it alive. Last touch by Tina Charles, and it'll be the Wings basketball.
Look, I actually love this type of play that a player can make. If you can't get the rebound clean, see if you can tap it out of bounds offensively.
There you go.
Because it allows you, if it goes against you and you don't get the ball baseline out of bounds, you get a chance to set your defense.
Alicia Gray tried to cut down the middle, tried to get it to her. Nurse coughs it up.
2 turnovers in transition for New York right now. These are opportunities that they are working hard to get, that they need to convert into points.
Rankake Kunwe then commits the foul. 13th turnover for Katie Smith's squad.
You know, Katie's got a few of those gray hairs on the side right there, and I think it's good that she's not dyeing them and covering them. That's like badges. Those are like Girl Scout badges. You work hard for those as a coach, those gray hairs.
I'm checking you out.
I got him.
Inside of 7 left. McCarty-Williams to Glory Johnson. Shot clock at 7. The long 3. Brooke McCarty-Williams.
Ron, you noted early that the big difference in the game has been the three-point line, and Dallas has been able to convert from there a lot more and get more attempts than New York has.
Well, Brooke McCarty-Williams hit a big 3 versus the Sparks in their last game. Nurse to the hole, draws the contact in the foul.
That's the finishing that I think Kia Nurse is so good at. She always is able to, I feel like, draw a foul when she attacks in there. Her physical body is ready and prepared for the pro level and to be able to absorb that kind of contact. But she also has that ability, I think, to finish with her left hand and her right hand there.
Yeah. And she completes the three-point play. Of course, Kia Nurse won back-to-back national titles with UConn, 2015 and 2016. Cuts the Wings lead down to 4. Harrison sets the pick and then rolls. Shot clock at 5. Glory Johnson, no. Gray, offensive rebound, another one. Enrique's pull-up. No. Harrison fights for the offensive rebound. Glory Johnson gets it and is fouled. 5 minutes and 59 seconds left in this ball game in Dallas, Texas. Enrique Ogunbowale checking in with 16 points. Will she be the WNBA Rookie of the Year? We'll talk about it when we come back. Wings lead about 4. Don't forget, coming up following our game, we will have Phoenix and Atlanta immediately following the conclusion of this game. Now, the million-dollar question, will Enrique Ogunbowale be Rookie of the Year? I don't think there's any question she's the leading candidate.
Well, again, Enrique has got such offensive star power, and she is fighting like crazy to keep her Dallas Wings in the picture for the playoffs. We know the implications of this game are huge. And right now, this game is going down the wire, and we're going to see, I think, some special moments out of the potential Rookie of the Year. And
there are the numbers. In August, lead to WNBA, 23.4 a game, 9 games with 20-plus points. She's 4 away from increasing that tonight. Last 5 games, averaged 36 minutes a game, so she's playing a lot. And a lot is on her shoulders. She doesn't have a lot of superstars around her.
No, she doesn't. Where she does have a lot of superstars around her is when you look at the top 15 scorers in the WNBA. She's the only rookie there. Another stat I think that's really special that I don't have the actual facts behind it, but from what I watch, is I want to see a rookie that's drawn more fouls.
That's a good point.
Than Enrique.
We'll just top it off with this. The last 5 games for Enrique, she's averaged 23.4, shot 48%, and is averaging 3.6 assists in that span. Kia Nurse pokes it out, shot clock at 3, and Brian Agler on the sideline making sure his team knows there's only 3 ticks left. Communication is huge in these moments, and teams that have great communication in moments like this, on the defensive end, they're going to, at the end of games, I think, find themselves on the same page and with more efficiency. Trying to get it into Glory Johnson, and they do, and she draws the contact and the foul. Great play call from the sideline with Brian Agler. To 3 seconds, go to a player like Glory Johnson, get her back into the confidence. She has not had probably the best offensive scoring night, but she knows how to draw fouls, especially in moments like that. Glory has struggled, though. She is in double figures with 10, only shooting 3 of 10 tonight. But still, 3 straight games in double figures now for Glory Johnson. Lead is a half a dozen. Now Glory extends her defense. Harrison working on Charles. McCarty-Williams shows the double. I don't like how when Tina Charles gets the ball, there's no one off the ball offensively for New York that cuts to the rim and to the paint. When you have somebody that will do that, it will open someone up, but they all stand out on the perimeter. But then deep in the corner, Rhea Hartley knocks down the 3, her first of the ball game. She's in double digits with 10. 3 straight games for Hartley now, double figures. 5 to shoot for Dallas. And they put it in the hands of Enrique. Tough shot, lets it fly off the side of the rim. Hartley falls over her. Hartley gets up, ball's ticked. And it'll be New York's basketball.
Yeah,
I think that's a great case in point. Don't mean to interrupt you, but shot clock running down again. Enrique always has the ball in her hands late in the shot clock.
Well, they know and are very clear on how they want to handle those situations. But it was 7 seconds on the clock, and Alicia Gray had the ball. There was great off-ball denial defense by New York's team to not allow Enrique to get the ball. Alicia Gray needs to have the confidence to be able to handle that situation herself.
And it's something they have worked on. Hartley, nice ball fake. Charles for three. Got it! Tina Charles with her second from beyond the arc and 11th of the year.
I swear that ball, when Tina Charles goes into that shot, I swear that ball kisses her shoulder blade before she gets it released.
Hartley now getting physical with Ogunbowale. Harrison sweeping right hand counted.
Crucial moment here for both teams on both ends of the floor. The sense of urgency has got to elevate right now. They're playing for a lot. Imagine if these two teams end up tied 4-8. The first line of tiebreaker goes to head-to-head. And right now they're 1-1. They've both won their home games. So this is a huge game with implications potentially down the stretch for the playoff hunt.
Almost a must-win situation, but Tina Charles has put this team on her shoulder for the fourth time in 5 games. She's got 20-plus points. The lead, only 2. Harrison puts up the hand, but Charles gets the roll. 25 for Tina Charles.
Brian Agler is going to have to make some decisions and maybe some adjustments in how they're going to prevent Tina Charles from getting touches. And if she does get them, how to handle them.
Well, versus the Wings, she has a career average of 23.8 and 9 rebounds. She's got 25 and 7 tonight. And we are tied, our 5th tie of the ball game. Tina Charles is so smooth, and she doesn't look like there's a whole lot of effort, even shooting the 3. She's shown that tonight, how smooth she is.
She's got a lot of tools in her arsenal right here. And her teammate, Izzy, or not her teammate, her matchup got caught helping too deep into the rim. So great spacing by New York and finding her open. But that's what I'm talking about. We saw that shot. It looks like it kisses her shoulder blades before she releases it. But she's an efficient shooter. She doesn't shoot a ton out there, but she takes good threes.
Well, she's such a great philanthropic player. Donates money to her neighbors, sent shoes to Jamaica, helped build a school in Mali, and of course there's a movie coming out about her dad. Just an incredible story for Tina Charles. Enrique, no. Lori Johnson, another offensive rebound. New York still overall out-rebounding the Wings, 31-30. Shot clock at 4. Harrison, tough shot, air ball. That'll be a shot clock violation. Not a good possession for Dallas.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed that Dallas has struggled a little bit in is shot clock awareness off of offensive rebounds. The shot clock doesn't reset all the way to 24 when you get an offensive rebound, and they've got to have that recognition.
Well, we do have a timeout. 2 minutes and 53 seconds left to play in the ball game. We're tied at 71. We'll talk about Tina Charles when we return to Arlington, Texas.
Well, Tina Charles is in her 10th year in the WNBA, and at 6'4", she can obviously do some damage in the paint, especially when she's ISO'd like that. But she's got a mid-range game, too. And then on top of it, she can stretch the D all the way out to the 3. She has got to be guarded anytime she has the ball in any position on the floor.
Now the Wings took the timeout, probably trying to figure out how they can stop Tina Charles, and you can see what she's done by half. Total it up to 25. New York looking for the lead, tied at 71. Trying to snap that 6-game skid. They go low to Charles. Corey Johnson shows the double, but they get the offensive rebound. Nice job by Rankaki Kunwe.
That's one of the vulnerabilities that you have when you double somewhere, is that you are leaving someone available and open for offensive rebounds.
Now, Izzy thought she had it, Izzy Harrison, but tipped it away. Now, Monty McGee-Stafford getting physical with Charles, calling for the double. Shot clock at 1. Nurse has to let it fly. That'll be a shot clock violation.
That's an example, Ron, that I've said is when Tina Charles gets that ball into the post area and pulls double teams, New York has a tendency to stand on the perimeter. They might shift a little bit, but they aren't cutting into the defense enough to really compromise defense and open up some of those perimeter shooters.
Now, Glory Johnson being covered by Nurse. They tried to go over the top, and they threw it away. Coach Agler is not a happy camper right now. 14 turnovers for Dallas.
Well, it's almost like both teams have this quota that they feel like they got to meet before the game runs out. There's 2 minutes left, y'all. We haven't turned the ball over 16 times.
Come on, we got to do it. 1:45 to play. Charles rifles the pass. Inside, nice look into Rankaki Kunwe.
Great off-ball movement right there.
And the Liberty with a 2-point advantage inside of 1:35 to play. Johnson to Gray. Gray slides, has to get it out. Shot clock at 3. Ogunbowale, no. Harrison, offensive rebound. Fake basket, go to the foul line.
What did I tell you about Izzy Harrison? Izzy Harrison is going to fight for offensive rebounds. She builds her guard's confidence to be able to take tough shots at tough moments, because a guard shot like this could mean an offensive rebound like that. That is her 4th offensive rebound for the night, and it turns into an opportunity for a much-needed 3-point play with 1:16 left in the game.
13 offensive rebounds for the Dallas Wings tonight. And Izzy tries to give the Wings the advantage, and she does. Izzy Harrison, 13 points, 7 rebounds.
Important possession here, right here, for both teams. Dallas going to have to work very hard to keep the ball out of Tina Charles' hands, and we see an off-ball foul being called on Glory Johnson, who got Tina Charles in the face with a forearm or an elbow.
And they're going to take a look at it to see if it was more than just a common foul. Glory Johnson wants an explanation. Tina Charles wants to make sure that everything is still in place. And Roy Gilbayan will go over and take a look at it. 61 seconds left in the game.
Off the ball reversal here, Tina Charles received a little back screen, and as she is cutting down the lane, we're able to see here that Glory Johnson tries to deny her the ball, and in that approach, she gets popped in the mouth, as we see her right now really struggle with trying to make sure her teeth are all in the same place. But here we get a chance to see this possession here. And I don't think there's any kind of hostile act. This is not going to upgrade into anything more. But again, I know officials right now are very aware that there's been a few incidences, as we can say. The noted Phoenix-Dallas hit-and-run incident. And they don't want anything like that to happen. So they're just keeping everything copacetic.
I think they are. We're going to get an explanation on it. And it is a common foul. Once again, we want to thank the WNBA officials who always come over and explain things to us. We have a question, they usually answer it. We do appreciate that.
They're so much better at answering questions when I'm on this side than when I'm on the other side.
I know. Somehow they don't explain to you when you're coaching for TCU.
Or any other university or a team. Like, it's easier to get where they're a little more approachable, I think, maybe in these moments. But these officials are human. These guys and these women, they have families, they got life, they got all kinds of things going on, and I'm so thankful for what they do to our game. It's a challenge, and of course, everyone wants to see growth and improvement as we see Tina Charles look for her ISO.
And Kayla Davis tried to make the defensive stop and instead committed the foul.
Offensive rebounds really seem to be right now this final stretch to be what's the difference between these two teams. That's Tina Charles' move, and her teammate recognizes that she engaged a lot of that rotation defense. And what we said earlier is double teams towards the ball can sometimes mean open men, open players, open women available on the O board.
And Tanisha Wright, who was coached by Brian Agler while in Seattle, gets both of her free throw attempts. And now the Liberty lead by 1, 53 seconds left to play in the ball game.
I think there were a lot of people who thought this game might be an easy dub. Not super easy, but pretty confident in saying this would be a dub for Dallas, considering the fact that Asia Durr is unavailable for New York, and Amanda Zawabi is not available for New York. Those are two significant players that Katie Smith does not have in the rotation right now. And it's a road game, which has been a struggle so far this season for New York. But New York has come into this game. That third quarter growth, I think, for New York has been really crucial in them being able to take this down to the wire. In these huddles and in these timeouts right now, both teams are talking about how to handle these final possessions, and really, I think, talking a lot about rebounding, especially how it's gone these last few possessions.
Well, New York actually outscored Dallas in the third, 19-18, and that's probably a positive for Katie Smith. So our situation is this: 53 seconds left to play in the ball game. Dallas has one timeout remaining. It's a 20. New York has 2 20s and no full timeouts left. Both teams with 5 team fouls. Alicia Gray to trigger it in. She's going to be picked up by Hartley. Gives it up to Davis. Izzy Harrison. Inside with a little reverse. Got it.
Sometimes it's the unexpected player that can be the hero because so much attention gets put on the player that has been the hero before. And that has been Arike. But tonight, right now, the last 2 possessions, Izzy Harrison has come up big. She's looking for Arike off of this off-ball screen, Glory setting. But great job by the New York Liberty in taking that first look away. So Izzy had to make that an ISO situation and make lemonade out of these lemons.
Well, her season high was 18 for Izzy Harrison back on June the 7th versus Indiana. The last 2 games combined, she scored only 15 points. She's got that tonight. And you got to throw in the offensive rebounds and obviously the 7 total rebounds.
I haven't met on a team a player that works as hard as Izzy Harrison does and rebounds the way Izzy Harrison, that her teammates just don't love.
Yeah.
They just love those type of players.
Everybody's standing inside the College Park Center, and the Sparks were telling us after the game this is one of the loudest arenas they've ever played in. Right now being guarded by Glory Johnson. Interesting matchup. Charles sees the double over Imani McGee-Stafford. No. That should be Dallas's basketball, and it is. Last touch by Ray Cockney-Kuzwe.
They will take a look at it, and I'm so thankful that officials have the ability to do this in these moments because everyone wants to make sure that this call is made right. And we're going to get another chance, I'm sure, to take a look and make sure that this is Dallas ball. That was the call, as you said. Dallas ball was the call made by the baseline official.
Look at it again. Harrison trying to get position.
Dallas ball.
Dallas ball. You know, I want to bring up a quick point here because I thought it was interesting that the Wings decided to put Glory Johnson on the point guard Tanisha Wright on that last possession.
Well, they did that early or late in the game against L.A. where they put Glory on Chelsea Gray. And I think there's a few reasons for that. If you know someone at point guard is going to receive an on-ball screen and you want to be able to get into a switch action, you can put the post on the point. You can put the point guard's defender on the post, get into a nice, easy switch, and that allows you for positive matchups.
Well, for those of you tuning in for the Atlanta-Phoenix game, you'll be able to find that online at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And, of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game.
So Brian Agler takes this timeout right off of this so he can advance the ball. And that's why we're seeing what looks like 2 consecutive huddles here for Coach Agler.
How about that? A 3-8 record for the Dallas Wings in games decided by 5 points or less. I know that's a losing record, but to me, that's 11 games they've had decided by 5 points or less.
Yeah, and that's out of the youngest team in the WNBA. That is evidence of a team that I think is fighting, who is believing, who is buying into a culture and a program, and I think it's evidence of good things to come and years to come. So Brian Agler is the coach I don't want like this, though, because the sideline out of bounds, he's really good at consecutive sideline out of bounds possessions and making adjustments. What he's doing right here, he's going to make sure the ball gets into his free throw shooter's hands. He clears out the poor free throw shooters into the backcourt.
And Tina Charles is going to be whistled for the foul and does not like it.
Yeah, but it's not the worst thing. Tick came off the clock. You were going to foul. And not a single tick came off the clock. So I think this is a decent call. Now, what the officials will look at, I think, in this situation is, was it intentional? Because if it was intentional and there was no cut, that's a foul that will lead to a technical and the possession back.
Well, here it is again. And Izzy Harrison trying to get position. That looks like kind of like a wrestling match. I think they're trying to do a little.
Are we talking about WWF wrestling, or are we talking about
or collegiate wrestling?
Yeah, what kind of wrestling?
Here's a better angle. You know, a lot of time in the post, there's a little hand-to-hand combat.
I don't see this getting upgraded, and they also might take a look at making sure that no ticks came off the clock, which doesn't look like that happened.
I want to remind you again, those of you looking for Atlanta-Phoenix game, you're going to be able to see it. You'll be able to find it online at cbssports.com/CBSSN, and you'll be able to watch it there. And, of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game right here on CBS Sports Network. So, Atlanta-Phoenix still coming up, but we still have 23.9 in this game, and the decision has been made. Away from the play foul, they're saying.
So that's what I was saying, where officials have to make the call here to see if this was a legal foul. You cannot foul in an action intentionally on an inbound to avoid the clock from having to be picked off. And so this is one free throw for Dallas and the ball.
And Dallas has the 2-point advantage. Ogunbowale with 17. One of 4 Dallas Wings in double figures tonight. Enrique. And she is going to be fouled. Enrique will go to the line, and she has spent some time there tonight. A perfect 4 of 4.
It is such a challenge, way harder than people probably realize, to inbound the ball in those situations and to get it to who you want it to get the ball. And that is a lot harder task than people realize.
And a 20-second timeout is going to be called by the Liberty with 20 left in the ball game. And the Wings opening up a 4-point advantage, trying to win their 3rd in a row. And this would be a big win for the Dallas Wings. Wings come into this game 8-17, 7-6 at home. Katie Smith's squad 8-16 overall, 4-8 on the road. But Alicia Gray, one off her career high of 21. She got 20 tonight, and she kind of set the tone early in this game.
She did, and it's exciting to see Alicia Gray in her third year here with Dallas really start to find a great rhythm and flow and confidence, and just bringing an additional element to having a playmaker on the floor. Alicia Gray is important to this organization, and I know that Brian Agler loves coaching her because she is completely bought in.
And now Glory Johnson goes on Tina Charles, another defensive switch for the Wings. Tried to lob it in. Johnson picks it off. And Alicia Gray is going to be fouled. Glory Johnson with an outstanding defensive move.
This has got to be scouting report right here. Dallas had an opportunity to talk about a play like this in their huddle, and they read it perfectly. They knew what was coming and defensively executed instructions very well.
Once again, Atlanta Phoenix coming up immediately following this game. 17.4 left in the contest. And Alicia Gray, a new career high tonight, 22 points. And it's going to be kicked out of bounds with 13-4 to play in the ball game.
Don't foul in those
Don't
situations.
do it. Really?
Don't foul.
Why do you want to stop the clock and put them at the line?
You gotta let it go, like Elsa said.
Yeah.
Let it go. Ron, do you know who Elsa is?
Not a clue. I just nodded out of being polite.
From Frozen.
Oh, okay, I know
From
that.
Frozen.
Yeah, I saw that.
Clearly don't have a granddaughter around the age of 5, 6 years old.
No. And Nurse is going to reach over the back of Farike Ogunbowale, who has a chance to go over 20 points again, which would be her 10th 20-point game of the year. Ogunbowale at the line tonight, a perfect 6 for 6. The good news for the Dallas Wings, they will get Kayla Thornton back and Christina Nigwe for Sunday's game at Connecticut. The bad news is Kayla Davis has to sit out her game on Sunday.
You get 2, and it costs you 1.
Rincocky Coonway giving it up. 9 seconds. Hartley lets it fly. No. That's going to be a travel, and Dallas will have it, leading by 6. Don't forget, coming up following this game, Atlanta Phoenix. Brian Agler is not going to stop coaching until he hears the horn. Okay, Brian, you can stop. Once again, the final score, the Dallas Wings win it 83-77. Third win in a row for Dallas. Coming